JHalfaday killed this beat.
Alright y'all, it's your boy Camo back with another episode of the ExZentric podcast. Got a special guest today, my boy JHalfaday, the creator of the Halfaday Show. This is actually our second collab. We've done collabs and stuff before. You got anything you want to say?
Man,
Mr. JHalfaday?
Mr. J.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If you're not subscribed to the channel, go follow us on Instagram at JHalfaday, and then the YouTube is going to be the Halfaday Show. Subscribe
Yes,
to
sir.
the channel. We got a lot of good content.
Yes,
Me and
sir.
Cam been at it for a
Couple
minute.
collabs. So we just added another one to the collection. And so on this episode, we just kind of want to talk about like current events that's going on. There's some big news talking about like the NBA and their boycotts. The boycott of their games and the ramifications that had. So we're just gonna chop it up about all that. What you think about the whole boycott and the whole protest situation? Because it's a lot of people who think like, oh, it was a great idea. You know what I'm saying? Raise awareness, and then there are other people who are on the other side saying like, okay, what was the point of this? Is y'all just gonna continue playing?
Man, I got to shout out to that boy from Jersey, Kyrie. I'm on his side.
I like
If
Kyrie.
they was going to boycott, it should have been the whole season.
Mhm.
They brought awareness by playing during this whole thing.
Mhm.
That's cool. The boycott on paper is a good idea, but like if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like one day, I feel like it did more harm than good because now like you got all that attention on you, but then it was a blink of an eye. Now you're
Yeah.
back to playing. Like now you're not talking about it
Yeah.
as much. Like the media was like, oh, this is something you've never seen since Bill Russell and them was
Yeah.
playing. Like just for them to do it for one day and now they're back to playing. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, and it's like I definitely respect it because it's like they didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bucks, they didn't have to do that. I mean, and I think that was the big controversy because they were like, it wasn't as organized as they thought it would.
It was also in Wisconsin too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So it's like if there was any team who should have done it, it's
They
like the
should've done
Bucks,
the
and but they didn't have to. You know what I'm
The
saying?
rest of the league kind of got on it. I feel
Yeah.
like they didn't really want to at first,
Yeah.
but it's like, damn, the Bucks did this without telling us.
Exactly,
Now
you know
we
what I'm
got
saying? Yeah, we got to stand in solidarity with them. And I mean, it's like, it was a genuine idea, you know what I'm saying? But my thing is the execution, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I mean, 'cause I figured I'm like, okay, they already did all this stuff to set up the bubble. They spent a lot of money on the bubble, you know what I'm saying? They're not just going, I mean, they're obviously standing for a great cause, but it's like, at the end of the day, money talks, you know what I'm saying? You can't, they spent like almost $200 million building the bubble, you know what I'm saying? They're not just going.
They lose the revenue too.
Yeah, exactly, but they're already losing. And then but this is something I just thought about somebody was talking about on Twitter. They was like, the Rockets, actually this Rockets and Lakers series, they're not going to broadcast it in China.
Because they can't.
Because the Rockets, and there was actually a conspiracy, people was thinking like the Thunder was going to win because the NBA didn't want
They didn't want to get that money in China.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, hey, Houston won, so I mean, we gonna see, but it's like,
I didn't even think about that.
yeah, bro, they were talking about
The
that.
refs was definitely bought.
But thanks, bro. Even when they got late game, I'm like, bro, they might be onto something, bro.
The refs really had me shook.
Yeah.
And then especially like the refs been horrible this entire bubble.
Yeah.
Like that call against Jimmy, and then the one against Chris Middleton.
Man,
I
what?
had to go back. And
Yeah. I mean, my thing is like, bro, if you gonna call the one on Chris, you gotta call the one on Jimmy. But they was both weak.
They was both
You
terrible.
don't call those at the end of a playoff game, bro. You don't call those, bro.
That's terrible.
But all right, so like, how do you feel about like players using their voices to be activists and stuff though? Because we didn't really see this a lot. I mean, especially like our parents, they didn't see athletes doing this stuff. Not basketball players.
Yeah,
not basketball players. You know what I'm saying? So like, do you think that's a good thing? Do you think like some of them need to stay in their place? What you think?
No, it's definitely not a shut up and dribble type
Yeah.
thing. Like I feel like if you got anybody with a platform, not just athletes, like mainly celebrities, if you have like a large following, it's your job to inform them of like what's right, what you
Yeah.
feel is right. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like with this whole NBA thing, how they're all advocating for like voter rights and reducing like voter suppression and all that stuff, that's great.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like just them talking about police brutality and all this other social justice issues as well. More power to them. They need to honestly put more spotlight on the WNBA.
Yeah.
What they've been doing, because they've been at it for like
Years.
since the first Black Lives Matter
Yeah.
movement, like since Trayvon Martin and like Alton Sterling and all them.
And black women gonna step, bro, for
Always.
sure. And whatever it is, they gonna step, bro.
Big facts. So yeah, it's definitely not a shut up and dribble thing. Like I gotta appreciate what they're doing, using
Yeah.
the platform and speaking out on things. But I wish that they will do a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like I was talking to one of my friends earlier. I'm like, So after the election, because I feel like everybody just feel like all this is happening because Trump is in office.
No.
It's not the case. Like everything that you're seeing is just a culmination of years and years and years of racial issues and racial tension. Trump did not create the issues that we have right now.
But Trump is he's a symptom, you know what I'm saying, of the path that we was already headed down as a country, you know what I'm saying? Like we was already, people hated Obama, like, and so literally Trump is literally just the anti-Obama, you know what I'm saying? And his that's what he's ran with, you know what I'm saying? Like he hasn't even tried to hide it, you know what I'm saying? And like all the people who didn't like Obama, they started to support Trump, and that's why we're seeing the amount of ignorance and stuff with like his supporters and stuff. But it's like, you know, I don't know. I mean, I have faith that Biden's gonna win because, like, you know what I'm saying. I really.
I won't say it's gonna be a landslide though.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a landslide, but I think, like, you know, people are realizing that, okay, we can't have Trump in office. You know what I'm saying? Because we literally just look like the laughing stock. I mean, and that's my thing. Like, you know, even when you start to think about, like, you know, just the upcoming election and voting and stuff, is like, you know, there's a lot of people who be on the fence about, I'm not voting in this election. I don't like either candidate and stuff. Or, you know, if I vote for Biden ain't gonna do nothing and stuff. And it's like, I mean, there are people who like have their reservations and stuff. But to those people, I say, like, one, you wanna make sure you know what you're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying. Realize what the ramifications of you not voting could be.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying. And don't go in there and vote Harambe. Don't go vote Lil Uzi. You know what I'm saying. It's like, don't do some dumb shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying. But I mean, I think people gonna vote for who they want to vote for, but it's like, you know, I think we just gotta make sure that they know, like, you know, if you vote for Biden, even if you don't like Biden, think about, like, the Supreme Court. Do you want Trump to appoint some more Supreme Court people?
If Trump gets 4 more years, we're gonna have 3 more Supreme Court justices that are Republican conservative, and that affects a lot of things.
Yeah, and that's a lifetime
Those
appointment.
are lifetime appointments until they're gone.
Yeah.
So, like, any court case that goes up to the Supreme Court and you have a majority conservative base, is going to go right.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? And that's for the rest of our life, more than likely. So it's like, it's very important to vote this election, and I got to shout out the NBA for pushing that. But then what I want to see more after that is, so after the election, what happens now? Are y'all going to be quiet again and not talk about, like, social justice issues? Because the system is still going to be there.
Yeah.
It doesn't die after Trump.
Yeah.
We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would like to see them stay active and keep their foot on it, like how the WNBA has for several years.
Yeah, because even going off the NBA, like, that was one of the best things I think to have came out of their whole boycott, is the fact that they're gonna turn, like, all the arenas into voting precincts. Because, like, you know, voter suppression is probably the biggest enemy in this upcoming election. You know, Trump and them doing whatever they can to make sure people can't go out and vote. So,
what
you
was
know,
the number last year? Like, last election, it was like 30 million people didn't vote.
Yeah, it was like the 30% of, like, the eligible population didn't vote. You know,
that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying. And the crazy thing is, like, you know, Trump actually lost the popular vote.
It's like delegates supposed to replace their constituents. So, you know, 30 million people don't vote. That's
a lot. That's a lot of people. America is only, what, 315 people, or like 320 million people? I mean, it's like 30 million of that. That's that's like 10%. Yeah. You shouldn't. We can't let that happen again. So I mean, and the thing is, it's a reason for that. 'Cause I mean, like, you know, even the fact that election day is not a national holiday, you know, folks got to literally take off work to go vote. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And like, now they even doing all this stuff with USPS, trying to like, people can't send in mail-in ballots. So I mean, the NBA is like. That's the biggest thing that like, you know, okay, the boycott was one thing, but the fact that they've really put in the work to make sure that everybody.
The billionaires said we're gonna open our doors. We're making this accessible. Y'all have no reason not to vote this.
No, exactly, billionaires, because if it's anybody who don't care about regular people, it's billionaires, and the fact that they really putting in all this effort to. I mean, and that's the thing. They probably wouldn't have done that if the players didn't. You know what I'm saying? That's what the biggest thing was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, their execution of this was crazy, but they did use their power, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are still some of the biggest personalities, like celebrities in the world.
Exactly, and you know, I think this really kind of awoken them to, like, exactly how much power they actually have.
Yeah.
Kyrie was sharp to it from the beginning. I guarantee. I think I said this last time we spoke. If the NBA, like, if LeBron and them, they all decided, hey, we're gonna back Kyrie on this. We're not playing. LeBron sit out, Kawhi sit out, Kyrie sit out. season done. They're not gonna play.
Exactly, and that's the thing with the Lakers and the Clippers when they were saying.
The Lakers and Clippers sat out the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's it. So switching gears.
Is this camera on me?
So I guess I got a question for you.
Oh, what's up?
So I had a conversation the other day with another one of my friends, and the question was actually no, it was on Iron PJP podcast.
Oh, thanks. You was on there. Yep.
They had asked me. They said, so what's one thing that you want to see change, like as far as social justice issues go within like the black community or any community really? Like what needs to happen collectively for us to get better?
I mean, I was talking with somebody about this the other day. I mean, you know, it's like people say like, you know, police and prison and stuff, like, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot that needs to be done with that. But me personally, it's like, you know, I think police reform would only do so much. Prison reform would only do so much. You know, I think the main thing you have to do is like it has to come from economics at the end of the day, because it's like, you know, we're a marginalized group at the end of the day, and like if you look at the black like median income household income, it's like it's so much lower than white people. I don't know the exact numbers. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, and so when you think about it, crime actually at the end of the day, it comes from lack of opportunity. It comes from proximity. It comes from lack of money. Like, you know what I'm saying? People, especially in times like this, like, you know what I'm saying, even during COVID and stuff, people are on their last, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so at the end of the day, when people don't have the financial means, they'll do what they gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you got kids and stuff. So it's like, I mean, I think one of the main things is fixing the economic gap. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's obviously way easier said than done. That brings in the whole reparations conversation. That brings in the whole socialism conversation. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, me personally, I lean more progressive and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm also a realist. You know what I'm saying? I know that if I know that I'm not expecting a check from the government just because I'm black, you know what I'm saying, for all these years. So I mean, my thing, of course, yes, it's like, yeah, I'm black, but then you have all these white people, you have all these white people saying like,
I know you've seen that joke with the professor that they pretend to be a black lady her whole life.
Oh, I know you're talking about, yeah.
You got people like that.
Exactly. She's like, yeah, I'm black, like, you know what I'm saying, and I don't want to deal with that. I mean, that's why I think, like, you know, things like universal basic income, things like, you know, free school, you know what I'm saying, like things like that, like, you know what I'm saying, because that makes the difference, because at the end of the day, and I was talking about economics and stuff, but education too, like, you know what I'm saying, I mean, you can do so much, but like, at the end of the day, when you really look at it, public schools in black areas, or schools in black areas, period, they don't have the same, they're underfunded, you know, teachers reusing textbooks from like 10 years ago, you know what I'm saying, it's like simple stuff like that, like, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, you can have bright students and stuff, but at the end of the day, if you don't have the necessary like education tools in place to make sure that the students are learning, or like learning to the best of their ability, you know what I'm saying, things won't change. And then also even think about like after school programs and stuff like that, just to keep them out of, you know, just the streets, or just, you know, just things that could get them in trouble, you know. Me personally, I think a lot of that stuff might have to come from like the community. In terms of like you know what I'm saying, like say I actually know somebody who they started in Atlanta, they're doing something to like for young after school kids, they're teaching them about the music industry, you know what I'm saying?
Tough.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you need stuff like that, like, you know, even us, we're dudes who like to share knowledge and stuff. If we was to run an after school program teaching kids like, okay, now you can be smart, like you can still be cool, you can still be smart though, like, you know what I'm saying? The two aren't mutually exclusive. I mean, and I think that's one of the main things. We just gotta make sure that people know, like, you know, it's cool to be smart, you know what I'm saying? It's cool to not be in the streets, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might get some street cred or something, but like at the end of the day, that life only leads to two roads at the end of the day, either prison or dead. And it's like, we see it way too often. So I mean, obviously it's a lot more work that needs to be done, and it's a lot more easier said than done. But I mean, I think the main thing, that stuff will have to come from within the community.
Facts. I'm glad you said that. I think the biggest thing we can do, like, and one thing I would like to see change, is for us to come together collectively a little bit better and like kind of support our own, you know what I'm saying?
Group economics.
Exactly. You see every other ethnic group do that in America.
Yeah.
You got little China, you got little Haiti, you got little Pakistan.
Facts, that's facts though.
They come over here and they all live in one house. They build a business and then they go back and get their cousin number.
Yeah.
And then they work at their business.
Yeah.
And then, you know, once they on,
Generational wealth. Yeah.
That's generational wealth. And if we start supporting each other, and you know, not trying to like what is it, the crabs in the barrel mentality, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta pull ourselves up together. Like, it's cool for one person to be on, but once you on, you gotta go back. You gotta help LeBron out.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what I want to see. I want to see us come together as a community and uplift ourselves. So like, once all these systems change and all that, we need to put in place better role models in our community.
Yeah.
We need to start looking out for one of each other. So like, when we start a business, promote your business, promote your brand, help out them people, you know what I'm saying? So like, we can all eat together.
Have you seen about that I think it was like a group of like 19 black families. I think it was actually in Georgia.
That is super tough.
Yeah, they bought a city pretty much, like, and it's like, you know, that's one step. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you don't want it to be like, you don't want to think of it as segregation, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's literally, they're building a black Mecca. I mean, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's another black Wall Street. It's like, you can't be mad at folks for that, especially when y'all literally burned our shit down. Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, twice. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, things have changed, yes, but like, at the end of the day, things are very similar. You know what I'm saying? They just got a new face on it. They just got, like, you know what I'm saying? We don't experience as much blatant racism as our grandparents and stuff did in the 60s, but we're experiencing institutional racism at like the highest levels. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the same systems are in place. They just put a different face. Like, even people, when people talk about, like, you know, the Democrat and the Republican Party, like, you know what I'm saying? Democrats was actually they switched. They switched at some point. I don't remember exactly the time, but like,
it was supposed to.
I want to say it was like the 40s.
Yeah, it's
I think post World War II.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. So it was around that, and it's like, and it's actually crazy because, you know, black people have historically been tied to the Democratic Party. You know what I'm saying? And actually, I think one of the biggest things that people are starting to realize is that, like, you know, okay, these Democrats have been saying they're gonna help us for so long.
Man, that is my number one issue with Biden. That man is so entitled to this damn black vote.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I guarantee you, if it was anybody else but Trump, it would not be so cut and dry. I'm like,
it wouldn't. Because me personally, I really don't want to vote for Biden. Like, I mean, unless somebody were to, like, you know what I'm saying, I just don't want to vote for Biden because, especially even talking about his history, I mean, the accusations and stuff against him, like, you know what I'm saying. And the thing is, Trump doesn't even look at, I mean, Trump looks worse than him, and it's like, and Biden already got these all types of accusations against him, so it's like, it's crazy. But like I said, I'm gonna do my civic duty to protect our country. You know what I'm saying? Or what we feel like is protecting our country, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't think America is going to move forward until we get away from the two-party system. Because it's actually crazy because, like, maybe last week, they're actually building up this third party. It's called the Movement for a People's Party, and like they actually had like a convention. You know, they got the Republican and Democrat, and like I actually seen it, and it's like they had like Cornel West in there. They had a couple like progressive candidates and stuff in there. It's like, and they're not running a candidate this election, but like they're trying to build up the precedent for, because you know what I'm saying, because they know that America is tied to two parties. Basically, they call it the
Libertarian Party.
Yeah, they call it a duopoly because, you know, and so they're saying they want to put pressure on these two major parties to realize that, okay, there is a third party that is on the come up that does support progressive policy.
We gave them enough of our votes.
Yeah,
we actually got to start doing
exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's the thing. Like, Democrats think they're entitled to not even just black people vote. They just think that they're entitled to people's vote. You know what I'm saying? Just like, okay, we're not Trump.
You're not Trump.
And it's like, yeah, okay, you're not Trump, but it's like, especially when Biden, like, it was recently they were talking about Jacob Blake and stuff. Biden had put out a bid. Right. He's talking like, oh, we have to end systemic racism and stuff. But I'm like, dude, if you're trying to be the president, you've been in politics for over 40 years. You tell me you don't have nothing, you don't have no solution to say like, okay, this is how this will be my plan when I like, you know what I'm saying? In the bigger scheme of things, I don't even really know Joe Biden's platform. You know what I'm saying? I just know that he's not Trump. Like, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, the things that I do know is like, he's not even, like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of Democrats, they're like far left now, like, you know what I'm saying? But he's very moderate. He's like center right at the end of the day. And it's like, in my opinion, if you really want people to vote, you would at least support one progressive policy or something, like, just to at least get the vote, at least get the people's. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? At least get the people's vote. At least have people say like, okay, at least he's saying this out loud to people. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, we know politicians be lying and stuff, but it's like, we want to at least see that you care. The fact that he's not even lying to try and get our votes, you know what I'm saying? That says a lot, bro. It really says a lot.
You know, I think the biggest thing, we need to get away from politicians in general. We need more people for the people. Like, politics was never supposed to be a career, first of all. Like, when they were first creating, like, American governments and shit like that.
It was made up of regular ass people.
It was made up of regular people, no degrees. They were literally, like, well, it was all white people back then, but it's like, if we made that, like, a modern thing, like, it would be people that you would see, like, every day in, like, the streets, like, at the grocery store, like, in the schools, like,
and you're like, oh, by the way, this is the mayor or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like they were somebody who came from the community.
Somebody that came from the community. Like, nowadays, you see all these politicians who are Ivy League law graduates and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, you don't live the same life that we live.
Exactly, and that's why I like AOC. Like, people like AOC because it's like you really feel like, you know, she literally knows what it felt like to be one of us. You know what I mean?
She just got healthcare. Like,
exactly. she only got healthcare because she became a congresswoman. You know what I'm saying? It's like is that the American dream? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, and that's my thing. Like, my two policies that I really stand for is, you know, making Medicare affordable for everybody, and then fixing systemic racism and stuff. And it's like, to me, it's like, if you're not supporting those things, like, you don't really want nobody vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, or like you think you're entitled, and that's basic. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's literally the bare minimum.
We didn't even get to talk about
reparations. Exactly.
About free school. We ain't
exactly. We talking about making Medicare affordable to every American. You know what I'm saying? So people, especially in the middle of a pandemic, bro. That's what really throws me off, because it's like, you won't even support free healthcare in the middle of a pandemic.
And on top of that, in the middle of a police protest,
exactly,
you go and get a former attorney general.
Bro, I was just thinking of that, bro, because it's like, you don't care. Like, to me, I mean, that's so. I mean, and like, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that Kamala Harris is a black woman and she's gonna be elected to vice president if Biden wins. But it's like, I'm also not just gonna ignore her history. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, her and Biden are part of the reason why police relations are so bad as to how they are now. And to me, it was just kind of, I kind of look at it as tone deaf. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a time like this when everybody's talking about, like, oh, police, like, defund the police, like, you know, limit police powers and stuff. And it's like, you know, even if you're not talking abolition, it's like, you don't want to put somebody that was literally the figurehead of something like this to be the vice president when you want people's votes. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, Kamala Harris, like, don't get me wrong, she was doing her job. You know what I'm saying? She was a prosecutor. You know, you want to get more people in prison. And like, she probably realized, like, you know, this was a bad thing, but it's like, at the end of the day, these people can't get their lives back. You know what I'm saying? Because of your mandatory minimum sentences.
And you can't get better from your past, but it's like, still, we can't ignore that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, there are people still in prison for this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at the end of the day, I mean, like, I'm glad it's a black woman, and I really think Biden really just did that to get more to secure the black vote.
Because they don't even agree.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I honestly want him to pick Stacey Abrams. That's who I would have preferred. But, like, you know what I'm saying, Kamala Harris, you know, she's a established politician and stuff. So I mean, I guess they wanted to, but
I can't forgive Democrats for failing Bernie twice.
Twice, bro. Twice. And then that's the thing. They get mad at people when people want these progressive policies, when it's like, bro, we was trying to vote for Bernie, but and that's the thing. Like, people realize was like supporting Bernie, but the thing is, the Democratic Party did not support Bernie the same way. That's the reason why Bernie wasn't able to win. It's not because people didn't want to vote for him. They didn't promote him. They didn't want him to be the candidate. They didn't want him to be the candidate at all, bro, because he's too far left. He's not establishment. You know, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing.
He's state business, if you really think.
Yeah.
He attacking everything.
Exactly.
Business-wise and money-wise.
Right.
This country stand for. And the politicians benefit from everything.
Exactly. That's the reason why, like, that's the reason why I think our country is where it is, because both of the parties are owned by, they're owned by rich people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I just seen something the other day. It was like, Biden has more corporate donors than Trump. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, at the end of the day, you can't never care for the people, because at the end of the day, these people are putting money in your pockets. And at the end of the day, money rules everything. Like we was talking about earlier, like, yeah, and that's the thing, like, with politics is like, people be asking me, they're like, oh, would you want to be a politician? It's like, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's a noble cause, but it's like, at the end of the day, you're gonna sell out at some point. Like, you're gonna lose your soul. Like, you can always go in with good intentions, but it's like, that money comes, that power comes, greed,
all the businesses in your back.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like there are, you know, if people, like Bernie didn't even accept corporate donations. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's how you know that somebody really cares for the people, bro. Like, because that's so much money that he's missing out on, and he's saying like, F that, you know what I'm saying? I care about the people, so the people who gonna donate to my campaign are people who actually supporting me, and those are people that he's supporting, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's crazy how corrupt. I mean, I won't say necessarily corrupt. Yeah, yeah. I didn't want to say corrupt, but yeah, it's corrupt. And like you said, they did Bernie dirty, bro. Like
twice, bro.
And the fact that like it's like they did all this and Bernie still like even like associates with the party is like it's crazy, bro. And I don't really like how they try to like, you know, demonize Bernie into like, well, they demonize socialism in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, they don't even really know that there's a.
They see what's on Twitter.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and then on top of that, they use examples from like Russia and I'm like, bro, yeah, that was one thing. That was a different form of socialism, you know what I'm saying? But that was in countries ran by dictators, you know what I'm saying? You can't have that in America at the end of the day. Like, you can have socialist policies, but it's like, and a president can have socialist policies and come in, but at the end of the day, they're gonna leave at some point. You know what I'm saying? So if you didn't like those 4 years where it happened, then okay, you just vote them out. But it's like the fact that they won't even give it a chance, like, you know what I'm saying? That showed you that they don't care about the people. You know what I'm saying? Because that would at least make for a more equitable society. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like it'll seem like we need something way to the left, but it's really just basic human.
Yeah, that's my thing, bro. Like they're putting corporate greed over like human rights. You know what I mean? Human
people.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let me ask you this: like in terms of, like say we were to hypothetically have socialism for 4 years, what are some of the main policies? Like, give me 3 policies that you would enact. I mean, that you would want to see if a socialist.
Well, it's really the main 3 that we've been talking about this whole time: school, healthcare, and I'm trying to think of a third one, honestly.
Like a socialist policy.
Yeah.
UBI?
What'd you think?
I would say UBI, universal basic income. I mean, cause for me,
consider that social. Yeah. I mean, we kind of did. We kind of seen that
with
this pandemic.
But I was just about to say that because it's like, you know, and me personally, I've been getting unemployment checks and stuff, and it's like, you know, some like, especially when they was giving the first like extra 600, it's like okay, this, you know, these are nice checks, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
and it's like, and like part of me was like, okay, because I was literally like torn between kind of like, okay, I didn't earn this money, but it's from the government, so I don't care. But then the other part of me is like, okay, what's wrong with me getting this money? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in the middle of a pandemic. What's wrong with them giving me an extra $600? You know what I'm saying? And that made me think, it's like why is it wrong for people to be able to live comfortably? Like, you know what I'm saying? If they were to get $1,000, yeah, you know what I'm saying? If they were to get $1,000 a month, what's wrong with that? Like, you know what I'm saying? People don't have to worry about simple things.
Like healthcare.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because you're like, okay, I'm getting something from the government to supplement me. Of course, I don't think billionaires should be getting it, but like, if you're a member of the 99%, you go to work, clock in. I don't see why you shouldn't be able to.
It's actually proven. They did a social study on people and businesses when they're giving. Like, there's no like expectation to be met. People are more productive, you know what I'm saying? So like when you remove the restrictions in terms of like rent, like student loans, and like healthcare and all that stuff like that, if you don't have to worry about that, you're going to be so much more productive at your job, which in turn is better for the economy.
Facts.
So it's like, it's so simple.
And
if you give people their basic needs, they will
contribute to the economy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was getting these checks from the government. I'm spending it in the markets. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm either saving it or spending it in the market. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what's wrong with that? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's recirculating back into the economy. Like, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting debate.
Can't spend no money. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you don't got no money, the economy's going to do bad. And I don't know how they expect the pandemic to kind of, like, how they expect us to come out of this pandemic on our feet. Like,
exactly.
Nothing happened.
I mean, and that's my thing. Like, even, I mean, because, you know, I think some of the stuff was outrageous, like, that people were demanding because we were, like, you know what I'm saying? In terms of, like, people saying, like, oh, you know, all student loan debt should be canceled. It's like, yeah, of course, that's obviously nice.
People wanted that before the pandemic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? People wanted that before the pandemic. That's not going to change because of the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? But, it's like, of course that's obviously nice, but it's like, that's literally like over $1 trillion that they would just...
The least they could have did was put a freeze on mortgage and rent.
Yeah.
That's the least.
That's my thing, because it's like, because that's the thing, it's like, yeah, you don't necessarily, I mean, because people are talking about, yeah, they should be canceling rent and stuff, and it's like, yeah, that would be cool if the landlords didn't have to pay a mortgage, like, you know what I'm saying? Then it would be more willing, but it's like, at the end of the day, being a landlord is a business. You know what I'm saying? You got into it to support yourself, and like, you know what I'm saying, you got to get your money. You know, especially if you have a big apartment building, like, you don't got time to say like, oh yeah, it's a pandemic. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just that comes down to capitalism at the end of the day to me, because it's like that's people got to put greed over, because they have to make their money. You know what I'm saying? So even people struggling to make ends meet in the middle of a pandemic, it's like some people getting evicted and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's sick, because it's like, God knows a lot of these landlords, like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, landlords are sleazeballs a lot of cases, but it's like some of them, you know what I'm saying? Some of them are just trying to help out the community, or like provide a space for the community, but it's like they got to get their money.
It goes back to that the 19 folk you seen in Georgia.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, we should have more of that. How many celebrities are making more than like 50 million?
Yeah, and that's the thing. They didn't even buy it for that much money.
People not even that wealthy. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't. But I think they bought it. I think it was less than $1 million. I'm pretty sure
it wasn't that much land. It was like 70 acres. But I'm like, still.
Yeah,
like,
that's a start.
If all of our black millionaires and billionaires came together, we could buy a stage.
Bro, facts, bro. But I had seen something the other day. It was talking about. It was one of the brothers of Islam, like members of the Nation of Islam. He was talking about like how black people, like the amount of money that we spend in a year, I think we would have been like the 13th richest country in the world or something. Just black Americans, period.
Black Americans, period. We spend so much down.
And that's the thing, but our dollar controls so much, like you know, in terms of like the money that we spend, because like we're the ones that make stuff cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? In terms, like, even like, let me use a recent example, like Von Dutch's hat company and stuff. It's old, like they made trucker hats and stuff, but like recently a lot of rich people have been rich black celebrities have been copping Von Dutch hats. You know, and Von Dutch is becoming a big thing, like Palm Angels and stuff, like all these big brands and stuff. Rappers talking about wearing Palm Angels and stuff. Now it's becoming a big thing. Chrome Hearts is a like, you know what I'm saying? Rappers talk about it, and then we literally influence the culture. That's why our dollar is so important. That's why people do anything to get our dollar. That's why you've been seeing all these companies talking about
that. Like, if you look at like multi-billion-dollar industries like music, sports,
we are the money.
We are the money. They can't make money without
us. All right, and I just want to thank my boy JHalfaday for chopping it up with me on this episode of the ExZentric podcast. Even though this is basically a collab between Halfaday Show and ExZentric podcast.
Nah, I'm a guest.
By the way, yeah, you are a guest, but you know, by the way, check out the Halfaday Show on YouTube and
the Halfaday Show, IG, follow me, JHalfaday. That's it. Twitter, JHalfaday. All that.
More content coming soon, more collabs coming soon. Thanks, and tune in. Talk soon.
Black Power.
Black Power.